Hey guys, how's it going? So, I wanted to make this video a little earlier in the month, but I had to make sure that we had a few things wrapped up first before I was able to talk about them. So for probably about the fourth month in a row now, you've heard me talk about localization for Soda Dungeon, and this month is no different. But I'm very happy to report that we finally have fully localized versions of the game up and running in German, Russian, French, and Brazilian Portuguese. We chose these regions because data seemed to indicate that they would be the most beneficial for us, and also realistic to produce. So for example, Chinese would also be very beneficial for us, but the process of localizing and getting the app into the Chinese market is a lot more difficult than with the other regions. Also coming up very soon is our Halloween update, which I did tease on Twitter just a little bit last week. And we've had a lot of fun with this update because we actually haven't done a Halloween update yet. We did, as far as themed season updates, we've really only done Christmas. And, so this is our first chance, not our first chance, but our first shot at actually doing a proper Halloween update. So the update itself is mostly visual. The town itself has had a pretty big overhaul for the Halloween theme. You'll definitely see some of your favorite bosses and items with a bit of a new color scheme to them, a little bit of a new design. But most importantly with this update, we're also doing a limited time sort of special event where during the month of October, and I think a little bit into November, you will have a chance to earn limited time accessory and costume pieces for your character, for your entire team actually. So basically you just have a chance to unlock them randomly as you play the game. In particular, the more dungeon bosses you defeat, the more chances you have to earn them. But for anyone curious, the Ring of Masks does finally have a purpose and it will play into this, but I will talk about that a little bit more, well, not in this video, but probably on Twitter or when we post the actual update. We don't actually have a finalized date of release for this next update, but I would look to expect both the Halloween content and the localized content to release together by mid-October at the latest. Lastly, coming up this week, I'll be showing Soda Dungeon at the Game Developers Expo here in Columbus, also called the GDEX. Now, we actually recently just did an event a couple weeks ago called MatsuriCon. This one's a lot different though because it's actually a fully games-focused convention, whereas MatsuriCon was an anime convention with a games side area. And so there's a lot more focus on games, and I'll have an actual booth in the main exhibitor hall as opposed to last time. And in case anyone is concerned, don't worry, I don't intend to make a pattern out of doing a lot of these events and shows and expos. I've mostly done them because they're very local here in town. I live about 15 minutes from the venue. It's really exciting to me to see my local scene grow. Here in Columbus, Ohio, you don't really get a lot of that, so it's a lot of fun to participate in those events. But since it's so close, I don't really have any, there's no cost for travel or hotels or anything like that really, so it's not really a big deal. And it just happens to be coincidental that these two events were right next to each other. The thing with Soda Dungeon that makes us a weird choice for conventions at the moment is just the fact that the current game has been out for 2 years, almost 2 years now, and so we're not really looking for feedback on the current game because it's not going to change a whole lot. And the next game, Soda Dungeon 2, is still not far enough along to really put into the hands of testers to get real feedback from. So we're kind of just showing the game for the sake of showing it. But with that being said, we are planning to release a brand new batch of Soda Dungeon 2 screenshots at the convention. So of course, if anyone is around and able to make it and come by and say hi, that would be amazing. But of course, I know this is very short notice, and again, Ohio is sort of a weird place to make a trip to, so if you're out of state, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to be able to make it over. But, so of course we'll be putting those screenshots out on Twitter as well, or probably the subreddit, or Discord, or, all that. We're very excited to show the screenshots. They're not in-game screenshots, but they're a mixture of in-game and concept art. So we're showing a lot of potential enemies, items, and classes in these screenshots to sort of, put them out to see what people think about them. So when you see these screenshots, don't think that, just because you see a certain weapon or see a certain character, they're not necessarily in the game at the moment. I couldn't tell you about them. They're just, it's a lot of concept ideas that we're sort of tossing around and trying to find the best direction with. But I think that about wraps it up for this video, so it was sort of cool to have a little bit more news than usual to be able to deliver in a video, since we have a few different things going on here. So I hope you guys continue to stick with us for the Soda Dungeon experience. Thank you for playing, and I'll see you soon.